Hi, everybody. How the heck are you doing? I hope you guys are blessed. I hope you guys are having a good day. I hope you slept well. And I hope you are ready for a lesson here that this is one I don't really want to deliver. Unfortunately, I need to because of the times that we are in and the way that we should be going. There's only a very narrow path that all of us have a chance to walk along. And if we fall off this narrow path, it is very easy to be lost. And most who are on this narrow path don't make it. And that is what is according to the Bible. And so if we are on this narrow path, we have to make sure that what we're doing and what we're teaching and what we are learning, how we are worshiping our Creator is how He wants us to worship. And there's things of a peculiar people. We are a set apart people. We are a people that shouldn't be part of the world. When the world comes and it does its stuff and it does all its stuff and leaves us with its ways, when we conform to those ways, we are not with our Creator. I am going to go over this a little bit more. And again, this is a subject I don't want to talk too much about because I hate conflicts with fellow brothers, especially brothers that I love and brothers who I adore. And maybe that's a sin, adoring them, but one of the people who put me where I was going to be from a biblical standpoint is Jim Staley. And Jim Staley has always had incredible lessons. He has always had, straight facts from the Bible. He was the only person who was able to actually explain Paul and the writings of Paul and things that nobody else could explain. And when he was in prison, I spent time with him writing back and forth. I got to know he and his family. I love them, and they're very, very, very good people. And before Jim lost his YouTube channel, he had 30 days or 31 days, I don't know what it was, of Elul. And the problem with this lesson is that I am going to break commandments simply by teaching them. I don't know any other way around it, and I was sitting here trying to figure out the way around it. And I can't figure out a way around it. It won't make sense. So let's get into this very first. Exodus 23:13. And in all things that I have said unto you, be guarded, and make no mention of the name of other Elohim, neither let it be heard out of your mouth. Right? And so this is where this begins. And it is a thing I want to go over first is this. Let's start with this. These are the Hebrew Jewish calendar months. And before I even begin this, guys, our Creator created us in day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. And He went from day 1, 2, 3, 4 to week 1, 2, 3, 4. Then He went into 7-year cycles of jubilees. It's always 7th year, 8th year, or in a month. It is in month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4. There were never names like this right here. All of these names that go right here, everything there corresponds to a month. And in the Jewish religion, Judaism, and in basically all over the place, these names were used for months. But our Creator never, ever, ever, ever put names to the months. And when I talked to Brother Jim and I said, hey, I believe this Elul thing is incorrect. I believe this is Babylonian naming. It should not be given to the children of the Most High, right? We shouldn't be calling things this. And Brother Jim did a 30-day segment. Every single day was focused on this, right? This right here, Elul. And that may seem like a very minuscule thing to do, but when you learn about the origin names and the origins of all of this stuff, it becomes crazy. And I was doing some studying on this. I didn't actually know that Elul was an idol. There's an idol of Elul, and so I actually had to go into this is called Chabad.org. This is like the Jewish go-to thing. And it's crazy that I'm actually in here, but I asked Google, I said, where did this come from? And so let's go over this real quick. In the pre-Babylonian era, we find in scriptures only 4 months on the calendar that are identified by name: Nisan, Ivir, Tishri, and Shivan. And the other months were just known by their place in the calendar. And in fact, none of these were here. These were all out of Babylon. So any of these names, this is actually incorrect, right? So this teaching, there are no four names, there are none of this stuff. Nehemiah came out with some. I mean, they said them, but it wasn't until the translators much years later did it. They weren't using this stuff until they went into exile in Babylon. The other months were just known by their place in the calendar. Third month, fourth month, starting from the first month. First, by virtue of the fact that it is the month when our nation left Egypt, the month when we became a nation. And this is coming from a Jewish standpoint. I am not Jewish. I do not I resent the Talmud. The Talmud is a set of Babylonian documents that they came out with, which is their Bible, right? They have the Torah, and then they have the Talmud, and it's Jewish mysticism, it's the Kabbalah, right? There's a lot of evil stuff that is 1,000% contrary to the Bible. There's even a teaching about 3-year-old, 4-year-old girls and being able to have sex with them. It's a very disturbing set of documents, this Talmud right here. And so when he's talking about this isn't the reason I'm actually looking at this. So, but it is from his perspective, right? So why did we begin to use these names? Why didn't we stick with the biblical practice of referring to months by their numbers? Guys, and that is the question that I asked Jim. I'm like, Jim, why are we doing this? Why are we bringing in mysticism and things of this nature? And he doesn't have any answers here in this Chabad.org. He talks about it being with Jeremiah's prophecy, but that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't say anything like that. And so the original system was to count months in numeric order, starting from Nisan, which it's not. It's starting from 1, 2, 3, 4. Thus, anytime a person mentioned a month, he was in fact recalling the Exodus from Egypt. None of this is true. This is all garbage. The part of this that I was looking at is where it talks about Elul here. And it might be in a different one. Footnotes. It talks about the idol of Elul, and was it an idol? And there was an idol back in this. And so let's look real quick at the origins of this stuff, right? Like if we are looking at the month of Nisan, very first month, right? And it's not the month of Nisan, right? I did it. I fouled. I called it, I used a pagan name, right? We are not to be using pagan names. We're not to be using gods of this sort. And, what strikes me is Jim doesn't care. He says that Nehemiah used this and this was the way that it should have, that it was. But they did not use this stuff up until they went into Babylon, right? So if you look at right here with Wikipedia, and I have two different Wikipedias open. Actually, let me go to the other one. And right here. Right here. So the name of the month, Elul, let's go to Elul, not Nisan. Like the names of the rest of the Hebrew calendar months was brought from the Babylonian captivity and originated from the Akkadian word for harvest. A similar month name was also used in Akkadian in the form of Elula. The month is also Eraula, or harvest month, in the Babylonian calendar. Elul is also the name for September in Turkish that is derived from Arabic. So, guys, if you look at this comes from the Akkadian. So, whatever the grouping of the people are, and what they say, it's an extinct East Semitic language that was spoken in ancient Mesopotamia, which is Babylon, right? So, everything that we're seeing here is out of Babylon. And if we want to say it's okay to use the month of Elul for teaching this, then we're going to have to say that it's okay. And this is where I'm sitting right here. This is where it's okay to say this right here. Tammuz. I just sinned. I'd probably be struck dead before the end of this whole teaching here because I broke commandments. I don't know how else to do it. But we are not supposed to say names or things of this nature, right? Like we're not supposed to say this word. And it's according to what the Torah says. And when we look at who is Tammuz, it's the Sumerian Dumzi in Mesopotamian religion. It's the god of fertility, embodying the powers for new life in nature in the spring, as shown by the most common epithet. So if we are going to the point of naming things after Babylonian gods and things of that nature, right? And if we are okay with Elul, then why aren't we okay with the 4th month of Tammuz? So let's take a look at a couple more things here that I had. This was very interesting. Elul, and this is again another Jew he went and did a little bit of research and tried to figure out why it is his people use Elul and Tishri, right? And we shouldn't. Listen to this. This is from a Jewish perspective. Growing up, I was taught that Elul and Tishri were 2 pivotal months in the Jewish year. Elul being the preparatory month to return to, and how Jews do it, they won't take the name, they won't use the name of our creator. And this is not the name of our creator, right? God is not the name of our creator. It's a surtitle. It's like Mr. Our creator's name is Yahuwah, Yad-Hed, Vad-He, Yahweh, as some people say. I am that I am. And let's continue on. So to God lovingly, so that Tishri, when God judges us and can then grant us a sweet new year with only good things. The rabbinic, and we don't use the Jews and rabbis there from there. The rabbinic play on words is Elul is Ani Ledoni Veda Li. I am to my beloved, Hashim, as beloved is to me. Cheshvan is known as Mar Cheshvan, of which the myth, why it's called Mar, bitter, is because there are no Jewish holidays during that month. Later on, I found that the names of the Jewish months are not Hebrew at all. After all, try finding one word in Hebrew, any version, where Elul, Tishri, and Nisan are used. They aren't. In fact, the Torah uses only Chodesh Harishon, the first month, to refer to Nisan, since we count from the time we left Egypt. So they even say it's not in Hebrew. This is not, nothing of this is Hebrew. This is 100% Elul is 100% pagan. It's things that we shouldn't be doing. The names of Hebrew months, in fact, were named after the Babylonian months, right there, right? And the source, this is the source. This is where these guys get this from, is from the Talmud. Guys, that is not good. That is Babylonian mysticism. That is the oral Torah stuff. We shouldn't be, it's not right. None of this stuff is right. We shouldn't be involved in any of this stuff. So listen on, a source, which either were names of their idols or paid tribute to idols. Looking it up, I found that Elul corresponded with the month Ulula, similar word, and Tishri, the Sephardic pronunciation being Tishritsu. So when we are looking at this, guys, if we are seeing that a name of Elul is an idol or paid tribute to idol or something of the sort, right? And so if we look up I don't even want to go into the Talmud looking it up. See what this guy has for looking it up. So the Babylonian calendar. Okay, so this is what he went to. All right, guys. So what I want to do is I want to finish this off and give you guys again one little piece of love. And this is it right here. And Exodus 23:13. And in all things that I have said unto you, be guarded, and make no mention of the name of other Elohim, neither let it be heard out of your mouth. Guys, we are to be holy. We are to be holy like our Father is holy. We are not supposed to do what the world does, say what the world does. And I love Jim, and this is probably one of these points he never will write me back again with. But I did tell him, I brought this to him, and I said, I don't know if this is why Yah silenced your YouTube channel or not. And I don't know. We don't know. Things like this we do not know. But if we are teaching Babylonian naming systems, and we call it Elul, right? Then why not bring in how are you going to get around it? If you are sitting there doing a segment for 30 days on this, why not do a segment for 20 days during fertility right time on month 4? You can't have it both ways. And I know there's a tremendous amount of people out there who love Jim, and rightfully so, because he's brought a tremendous amount of people into the Torah. But as keepers of the Torah, we are to confront evil like this. And even as uncomfortable as it is for me and for confronting this stuff. And, it's like all you guys are out there, you want to like whip me because I'm going against the teachings of Jim Staley. And all I want you guys to know and to understand is that your soul is of utmost importance to myself, as it is for sure the Father and the Son, right? And we want to be on that narrow path. And if we are able to get into the naming of Elul and just say, oh, it's not a big deal, without even looking at the origins of it, or without even saying anything. And I'm not going to say anything more on this because I love my brother Jim, and I hope that people, and I hope he takes it when he brings his video service back up. It looks like he's bringing his video service back up. When he does, I hope it is blessed, but I believe he is going to continue on with the Elul stuff, and those videos that he did at the very end will all be up on the new video platform. And if that is the case, I don't believe it will be blessed. I believe Yahuwah will do what he did with YouTube. And these are lessons all of us have to know. I am no better than anybody else. I am just simply repeating off what I know. And guys, if we are to not say the names of mighty ones out of our mouth, then simply saying the fourth month by that name is an issue, right? Simply talking about Elul, and where did this come from, right? Nobody had this. The translators will use it in the Bible nowadays because that's been the deception, right? But if you want to be on track with our Creator, it is not a named month. Like right now, we are in the 8th month, and today is the 24th day. This is today. It is the first day, right? It's a day when most people go and they go to church and then they go out to eat afterwards, and they are all saved and they're waiting for a rapture that will never happen, right? So here we are on the 24th day. And so I know this will pick at a lot of you guys, and I am not attacking Jim in any way, shape, or form. I have brought this to him as a brother, and he rejects the truth. So much love. I will be praying for the Staleys, and I hope everybody does pray for the Staleys. They are a great family. Jim definitely knows his stuff when it comes to much of the Torah, but at the end of the day, if we're using Babylonian mysticism names, we're only babies. And so we have to grow up, and we have to do what our Father wants us to do. Much love to everybody out there. I'm out.